Nicole Jenkins. Sorry, I just love my name. My mom did really good with that, so it sounds pretty. I'm like, Amari Nicole. My age, I am 22 currently, and I think that's all, right?
What are you excited about today?
What am I excited about? I'm excited for this interview, and just to tell my story. I've been working on, also expressing myself a bit more and getting out, who I am and what I do. Because I'll have people come to me like, Amari, like, you need to tell people about, like, your lifestyle and what you do during the day and how you've gotten this far. Because, like, it's actually pretty amazing. Like, you should tell people about this. Like, you should write a book or something. Like, so I'm excited.
Period. Yeah. I am so excited to hear about your story.
Thank you.
And I'm really just happy that you're sharing it with me today. You're gonna do great. Like, I can already tell that you're about to tell me, girl. So yeah, I'm excited. Okay, cool. So we're gonna start with 2 to 3 softball questions. So first, what is your favorite activity to do right now outside of school or work?
So my favorite activity, I would say, is I'm trying to get into, like, crocheting and also, like, beading. I'm a sucker for beads. Like, I like beads on, like, clothing, like beads, like, on, like, my purse has, like, beaded. I'm like, wait a minute, I keep on buying all these beads. Like, why not just make beads and, like, put beads on things? So that's what I've been trying to do is embroidery right now and crocheting. It's been interesting because I am a perfectionist, so, like, it's been hard.
Yeah.
Not being good at it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make, like, a top. I was trying to make a jacket at first, and I was like, this is not going to look like a jacket. So I'm making a crop top, but it might not turn to a crop top. It might just turn to a scarf. So we're just going to keep going.
Yeah. We're trying your best.
Trying my best.
Absolutely. That's so cool. Oh my goodness. I can't. You have to tell me how it turns out afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It might turn into something. I don't know what it is. Maybe a placemat.
Yeah.
That's like at least a placemat. Like, I just that.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank
Okay,
you.
cool. What qualities of yourself are you most proud of? Pick 3.
I would say my persistence. Good or bad, I'm persistent in something. Like, I'm very focused.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Like, people do say fixation. I say persistence.
Yes. That's an awesome way to put it.
Someone told me that this week. I was like, okay, we can spin this around, right? Like, this could be good in some type of area. Like,
yeah.
So
Nice.
I would say that. And I would also say, I think my ability to compartmentalize. I would say that has also really helped me in life, and also helped me in, like, such certain situations such as, like, relationships and friendships, because you might have feelings about something and you're just like, wait a minute, let me save this for later.
Absolutely.
So I think that character trait I have learned and grown up with, like, learning and nurturing and how to do it. So I realize, like, that's a strength of mine, I could say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You have maybe one more?
I would say, I know people, like, don't say this about themselves, but I think kindness, I am very, like, I can see myself reverting to, like, okay, but wait a minute, like, let's be nice. He might be having a bad day.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, some people, I've been around people who are just like, no, like, they said this, they said that. And I'm like, no, but, like, they might have a bad day. Like,
yeah,
let's give them some grace. Like, because I know I be having bad days. So,
yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely think not only that kindness is a skill, but that's something that more people should name in themselves. What is an accomplishment, personal project, or extracurricular activity you are proud of working on?
Throughout my whole life or just in college?
It could be throughout your whole life.
Okay. I would say the biggest thing, like, that is, like, a longevity thing, like, it spanned a lot of years, is probably me running and running in general, and also being able to run college track and field. I started running when I was 8 years old. I hated it. I hated it so much. I was like, why am I in pain all the time?
Yeah.
I hate this. And I would tell my mom, like, every year, like, please take me out of track. Like, I don't want to do it. But she had a passion for track. And so she kept me in it despite my complaints. And it has really helped my life. It's opened a lot of doors for me. It's allowed me to meet a lot of different people, allowed me to be like such in like a diverse like environment, and it's helped me have like a family that's not my family, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Like the people I did club track with, like I still talk to this day, and they're rooting for me in every aspect of my life. So I'm just like, to find people like that, it's really hard.
yeah.
It's very hard. So I'm very blessed to say like I have people like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm just, yeah. So I think track is my biggest accomplishment because I've done it for so long, I would say. And like with my body breaking down some years and everything, and maybe not hitting the times that I want to hit certain years. I think like through everything, through all the drama of just like being in a big team and having, you know, so many personalities and also just everything, I think staying in it and being dedicated to it is like something that I can look back and be like, oh, like that's a lot of work. Like I'm proud of that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's that persistence at work.
Yes.
For sure. Okay. What tips would you give someone trying to do something similar?
I would say first, make sure that you have people around you who can be a community to help and uplift you. It is so much easier when you have people who are rooting for you or who might be like-minded as you and want the same goals. I mean, it just makes things so much easier.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going through something hard, to just have community. I've been realizing, like, as I've grown up, like, we as humans were not meant to be alone. And that is something I really struggled with, like, growing up, like, you know, just isolating and being by myself and thinking I have to go through things by myself. But I realized, like, inadvertently, like, I've thrived when I'm around people who care for me and who have this, like, the same mindset of me, have the same goals for me as myself.
Yeah.
So I would say try to find your community as much as possible, even though it might be difficult to like step outside your like safety zone. Like I'm a big introvert, so like it's hard for me. I gotta put myself up. I gotta be like, okay,
Yeah.
let's do this. So
yeah,
it's been really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then another thing I would say is make sure it's something that I would say not that you like, because I didn't like track.
Yeah.
But it's something that it can bring things out of you. It can bring certain character traits out of you, I would say.
Totally.
So like with track and in terms of that aspect, it brought persistence out of me. And that's something that I feel is a valuable character trait to have. So it might not be the most fun at times, but what you're getting out of it has to be worth the long hours and the persistence.
True.
Yeah. My dad said, like, not everything's fun, but it's what you get out of it makes it worth it.
Yeah. Great advice. Thank you so much. Cool. We're going to move to our next question.
Okay.
What does education mean to you?
But immediately when that came to mind, I thought of my mom. I remember what she used to say to me. She used to say, like, remember to get your education, because when you get that degree, that's like that's the one thing in the world no one can take away from you. And she always used to tell me that. And that really stuck with me, because in this world, like, everything's fleeting. Like, nothing is guaranteed. But my mom was like, if you get that degree, like, there's literally nothing. Like, who can take that away from you? Like, nobody.
Yeah.
So I think on a personal level, that's what education means to me. It's just something that's mine, you know? Something that I can have. And that I can be a little selfish with, like, no, I don't want this to be taken away. Like, this is all me. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's really important for me, because, you know, I think in the community that I grew up in, it's very hard to, I guess, leave that community, because, you know, there's just limited opportunities, I would say. And I got very blessed to be able to go to college. Not everyone in my community is able to go to college. Like, it was a very big deal.
True. And
so education is something that is looked at for me as like just a blessing. It's I'm like, wow, like God picked me for this. Like, I am very blessed, because there are some people who I remember coming in, like, didn't have the opportunity to go to college due to COVID, and, you know, and they just couldn't do it. I had friends who didn't get to go. So I would say that I'm very blessed to be able to get to go and to be able to, you know, help my family and help my community, because I understand that when I get my education and as I'm getting my education, like I already know that's going to go back to my community. Like
Absolutely.
I just, and how much they've been supportive with me, I just know that I have to give back to them.
So true.
So I see it as an education for not just me, but for everyone. Yeah. If that makes sense. Yeah. I think education is just something I'm really proud of. I'm really happy and fortunate that I was able to do. Because, like, just growing up, my parents, you know, it was very, you know, it was very hard. My mom just told me, like, when I was little, she was like, she just told me, she's like, I'm not going to be able to pay or afford your college. So she was like, what I can do is, like, help you with track and take you to practices and, you know, pay the registration fees or whatever for track. So she was like, it's up to you to try to, like, get to college that way.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's why, you know, I did track for so long, as it was a means to get to college. So it was a group effort in helping me get there. And, you know, especially since that was kind of like the only way that was conveyed to me that that's how I would be able to get to college, it was very stressful at times, because I was like, you know, if I don't run good, like, I'm not gonna have that opportunity to go to college. Like, what am I gonna do? So I would say that that education was it was just very important.
Yeah.
Very, very much stressed as important for myself, because I wanted it for myself.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted an opportunity to get an education. So
yeah. And I'm so glad you have that.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Thank you for sharing. What's a topic, subject, or skill that you think should be taught in schools?
Besides home ec and woodshop, I can list the whole thing. Helping out with, like, loans. Also diversity, more diversity, I would say, in the I think high school is where it was very formative for me, and being in a diverse high school, like, there was just a bunch of everyone, like, just a whole bunch, and it was very comforting for me, because being in spaces where I wasn't, like, the only one of one, it was beautiful, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, there was so many different variations of everyone, so many different personalities at my very, like, diverse high school, and it was great. Like, there was no fighting. Everyone was just very open-minded to one another. So I would say, hopefully, that in terms of also higher education, I hope they keep that in terms of more diversity within their education, in terms of hearing actual people's real stories.
True.
Instead of, like, oh, this is what this book says. Like, no, diving in deeper into more, I say, not ethics class, but more diverse, more racial, more, I guess, gender study classes.
Yeah.
Because I really think it's important.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people, like, at my college now, who didn't really have that background in terms of a diverse community, and they took those classes, and, like, their whole outlook on, like, just life and how they carried themselves and how they spoke to other people changed. Like, they were much more open-minded.
True.
And I'm just like, yes, like, this is great, isn't it? Like, we like everyone else. Like, we love everyone here. Like, exactly. It's great.
Thank you for sharing. Cool. Next question. Is there a cause or social issue that you're passionate about, and why is it important to you?
I think for me, my cause, my social issue, so it kind of stems into what I want to do one day. My area that I want to go into, I want to be an OB-GYN. Yes, I really want to be an OB-GYN. Like, period. I'm looking forward to it. But then I also want to parlay that into sports, because I am a big sports girl. Like, it's been my whole life. Might as well. Yeah. I got some knowledge from it, so might as well use it. But I think it's also because as a female athlete, there is just so much that is different from our bodies than, I would say, just, you know, someone who doesn't do athletics. Like, our body, for better or for worse, it's always going through constant change.
Absolutely.
There is, like, stagnant growth in some areas, or there's like just supreme growth in other areas. Like there's too much of this or too less of this in comparison to just a non person who doesn't do athletics bodies. So as someone who has gone through like just women health issues due to athletics, I just want to be someone who advocates for the women who are doing athletics, because it's hard.
Absolutely.
Because as we know in the medical field, it's constantly changing, it's growing, but I feel like there's just a lot of different areas that's not being addressed. And so, I mean, it's like the last great frontier. Like there's so many other things that you could like discover and hit on. And I think that women in sports bodies, that is one thing that's not, it hasn't been discovered or just like charted yet. So I feel like leaning into those areas is something that I'm personally passionate about, because I've just seen the struggles and I've been through the struggles.
Absolutely.
Like I look through at my teammates, they're, you know, going through stuff in terms of just like weight gain or just like eating is very different. Mental is very different. You know, how I don't know, I probably have like a really bad, I'm probably gonna have a persistent toe problem for the rest of my life due to athletics. Like, so I have to work with that. You know, people's hips give out. Like, I knew a lot of like my retired teammates, they're getting surgeries in their 20s because of athletics. So because of just problems that weren't addressed.
Absolutely.
Or weren't advocated for enough. So I'm just like, I really want to be someone to advocate for them in terms of that.
Yeah.
And also, you know, in terms of women who might want to start giving birth while they are an athlete, I know it's something that we're going to see a lot of.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I like Serena Williams, and then you have, you know, Allison Felix. She's a runner who's a big advocate for that.
Yes.
So I definitely want to see like what I can do and help them, because there are people like Tori Bowie. She was she recently passed away this year. She is a female track and field athlete, Olympian actually, and she had complications in her as she was giving birth, and she passed away. So it's just stories like that, because I remember watching her at the Olympics and I was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Yeah. And just following her and just to hear that she like passed away, it was very heartbreaking. And so I just definitely want to be an advocate for women all around, especially with pregnancy and motherhood.
Absolutely.
But just all around for that.
Yeah. I think not only is that an incredible cause, but it needs all the advocacy it can get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just have a passion for it. And I'm hoping my character trait of persistence.
Period.
AKA fixation.
Yeah.
Will get the job done.
Absolutely. Persistence is our word of the day.
Yes.
Like, you're going to get it done. Absolutely. So I'm so excited for you. Yeah. And I know that you have another cheerleader over here.
Thank you.
I will be rooting for you every step of the way.
Thank you. I love collecting cheerleaders. I'm like, let's take this all the way, guys.
You got a whole booth of them, yes. A whole stand full. I love that. That's awesome. Okay. Thank you for sharing. What advice would you give to someone who wants to make a positive impact on their community?
I would say keep going.
Yeah.
Because if you already have the passion to do that and you want to make a positive impact, that's the first step. The hardest part is going to be keeping at it, because there's going to be a lot of things coming at you that's saying like, don't keep going. Like there's going to be a lot of roadblocks. People aren't going to be willing to work with you if you need help in doing that. And you're going to feel maybe like alone at sometimes.
Totally.
But I want to say keep on going and, you know, mentally prepare for that.
Yeah.
If you're not like ready for that, mentally prepare for that, because that is something that deters a lot of people who do have the passion. They don't understand, like, you know, it's not going to be like all rainbows and sunshine, and you're not going to be like, I don't know, Michelle Obama doing all this stuff and posing and looking great. Like, it's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to feel sometimes like you don't want to get out of bed. Like, you just don't want to put on like your passion today. But I would say keep on going and just try to take it little by little. I know a lot of people have always told me that in life, like little by little, like day by day, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we gotta get going. Like,
no time for that.
No time for that. But really, like, compartmentalizing, like, this is today. Let's do what needs to be done today. Like, and setting boundaries for when you are, like, on. If that makes sense. Like, for me, on Sundays, like, I turn on my little, my phone, my notifications. Besides text messages or call, like, I don't get anything. I just dedicate the day to just resting and relaxing. And so that allows me to go hard, like, throughout the week. So I would say, like, setting boundaries for yourself so that you are available to be on and to get through those rough days because you've had the rest to do it. So I would say that.
Yeah.
And mentally being prepared for just, like, the bad days or the non-easy days.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic advice. What is a challenge you've had to work through, and how has it shaped you?
I would say that one of the biggest challenges, I would say, because, you know, I'm still in college and things like that, so those are, like, my primary challenge years.
Yes.
Like, I know, like, you know, growing up was, you know, just a bit different with me having to focus on track and it being, like, a job at such a young age for myself. But, like, as I got to college, things just became a lot harder. I'm like, dang, like, I thought I had it rough as a kid. Like, this is actually, like, this is tough.
Yeah.
But I would say, I think the biggest thing was just something happened my freshman year where just it was not a good time. Someone, like, just something happened with a student on campus, and that really shaped my life for, like, the worst.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And, you know, you could still argue that it was for the worst, but it just really set me, like, it just altered my life completely. Like, especially because during that time, like, people were, you know, UCSD, they're still going through COVID and everything like that. So not only was I like were we isolating, like, for real, but I also isolated myself. And, you know, that incident and that moment, it has really made it hard for me to, like I said, like, to be vulnerable, to have, you know, relationships with people, and to also, you know, not feel so conscious about everything, and also hypervigilance, I would say. So I mean, and, you know, there's also health problems that have stemmed from that incident as well. So I'm just like, there's just so much that it has impacted my life. And, you know, I wouldn't say it made my life worse, because I'm working on rewording that.
Yeah.
It's not. Things have happened that I wouldn't have thought for myself I wouldn't have wanted for myself to happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, I thought, you know, college would be great. I'd be the bubbly girl. I'd be happy. I'd just be, you know, in La La Land. But it really tainted my experience.
Yeah.
It really took away a lot of my joy, and it took away a lot of just my happiness. And I'm still trying to, you know, get that back at times. And I have had, like, great experiences. But I will say that was just, like, it was really hard to go through that, and to also have to go to track practice every day, and have to go to class every day, and to, you know, have everything seem like, you know, it's fine, or just keep going in life, because you can't stop. Like,
yeah,
I could have stopped, but
we didn't have that as an option.
We didn't have that as an option. Like, I was like, I really can't stop, because that's not personally an option for me.
Yeah.
You know, just morally or financially or things like that. I was like, I cannot stop. So I had to keep going. But yeah, it was just really hard, and I'm still working on it to this day.
Yeah.
To try to, like, recover mentally.
Yeah.
And just, you know, hearing from a lot of people, like, especially that incident, like, usually people, it's going to be a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, when they said, I was like, dang, like, this can't, something like this. I was like, can I get a timeline? Will I be fine in like 5 years? They're like, no, it's going to stay with you for the rest of your life. I said, okay. Well, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But so I got to reframe my mindset and how I do things. And I do think it's getting better.
Yeah. How are you working through that?
I would say definitely, of course, you know, therapy is really, really good.
Yes.
Going to therapy has been great. But also, I would say, because you can go to therapy all you want. But are you going to do the steps, like, outside of therapy to get better? So me, like, forcing myself to do it, and also talking to, like, people close to me, because I try not to share it too much with people, but talking to people close to me so that now I know somebody else knows about it, so they can keep me accountable about how I react to certain things, how I might shy away from doing certain stuff.
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll be like, oh no, I don't want to do this. And they're just like, why not? Like, you said you want to do this. Let's do it. So just having, you know, confidants who understand what you're going through.
Absolutely.
Or who might not understand either. But who know what your goals are and who will push you to do those goals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing with me. What advice would you give to someone facing a similar challenge?
Ooh. Hoo-wee.
I know
my
you're
gosh.
still going through it as well, so.
I would say I'm so sorry. It is very difficult. The advice I would say is that I know you want to get better, but don't focus on let me be better right now.
Yes.
Even though I know you want to be better right now, it probably won't be like that for a couple years. Hopefully that's like if it's going well.
Yeah.
That's something like, so don't focus on that because it's going to be a long time if you think about it and you focus on like, how many years has it been? Like, this needs to wrap up. So I would say focus on day by day. And if that's too, you know, much, month by month, be like, you know what, let me assess at the end of the month how I'm feeling. Can we keep going? Can we keep clocking in and clocking out day in and day out? Can we keep on doing this for another month? And also taking rest, maybe taking vacations. I know that was very hard for me to do here because the incident was at UCSD and everything. So I would have to be here all the time, like especially with track and classes. And I wish I would have taken a little bit more vacation time away from the school.
Absolutely.
And like actually just like rested instead of like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and do that. And everything was centered around UCSD. So I would be just hyper vigilant all the time. So I think taking vacations and stepping away from your life for a little bit is also very, very good. And enjoying those vacations. Just enjoying yourself. And also be very careful about who you share, you know, certain things to, because not everyone is going to react well, especially to certain sensitive situations. I think that's the hardest thing I had to learn was like how people's reaction to certain things I've said about the incident really broke my heart. And, you know, some people won't talk to you. And it's like, wait a minute, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you like want to talk to me anymore?
Yeah.
So I think being very selective about who you talk to would be very good.
Yeah.
But also like don't close yourself off to people. That's one of the hardest things I had to learn was not to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning how not to do that, but I would say learn just get ahead of it before it gets out of control, because it can, and you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So
well, first of all, thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing with me. I know that it can't have been easy, but I really appreciate getting to hear your story. What do you think is something about you that will get left out of standard applications?
Probably a good question for like a job application or a college application would be like, what are your family dynamics, I would say. Because I've been like keying on to that with certain people. I ask that question now and it tells me so much about people. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I'm a really big like advocate for like, family is very important. So I understand like it influences a lot. So I'd say that, like asking that question.
For sure.
Because I'm looking now, I'm like, oh, I mean, I always knew my family does play a big part in my life because I do center it. But I'm just like, wow, I didn't know how heavily it did. So,
Yeah. So you would say something about you is that you have very strong ties to your family.
Very strong ties.
Yeah.
I am the youngest of, there's 6 of us. I'm the youngest of 6.
Wow.
So yeah, very family influence. There's a lot of people. Wait.
Yeah.
There's 6, right? I gotta make sure. I'm like, wait a minute. Yes, there's 6 of us. And like I have 2 nephews. Oh my gosh. I love my nephews.
Oh.
They're what the family needed.
Yeah.
We already had a lot of people, but like
they
get that extra spice in there.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
I love that. That's awesome.
So yeah, I definitely love my family. I love how big it is. And I just love that, they influence me a lot in the good ways. Like all my siblings, all of them, they're very funny.
Yes.
And they're funny in different ways. Like I'm the least funny person, and I'll take that gladly because I just sit there and watch them talk, and I'm just like, I just be laughing. I'm just like, go do your thing. Like I love being around them, and I just love like interacting with them. So, and I do think they like impact my life because, there's like a section of my siblings who are older. Mm-hmm. They're like in their 30s.
Yeah.
So their like mindset is very helpful.
Yeah.
In certain situations, and they've already been through some things. And they'll give me really sound advice. And then I'll relay that sound advice to, like, my friends.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, Mari, you sound so old. I'm like, well, I know old people. I hear old people.
Yeah.
So,
that's so funny. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that with me. What would you say to a student who will be doing their storyteller interview?
I would say to come a little bit prepared. Because if you're not a good talker... It might be a little rough. Just if you're like trying to off rip. But I would say to be relaxed, to focus on things that you actually care about. Like don't just be like, oh, like this is what I think they want to hear. No, just focus on things that you actually care about. Because I know that just even talking like in certain positions I've had in my lifetime, being authentic is very much needed in today's day and age, and it is very much, it's like a niche now to be authentic. So if you want to stand out, just tell your story, be real about it, also breathe, and have a great question asker.
Thank you. That's so nice.
That really helped me a lot. So I would say, yeah, just relax, just breathe. And if anything goes bad, just ask them to roll the tape again and restart.
Real. Okay. Thank you so much, Nikki, for coming in today. Hey, YouTube. If you enjoyed this person's story, don't forget to subscribe to hear from more inspiring youth. If you want to apply to the Storyteller Scholarship or get more involved in our organization, all you have to do is sign up at the link below. Thanks for watching.